The outer service passage is almost black before the bake room appears. A low door stands half within the wall, its wood dulled by weather and hands. Beyond it, the last warmth of the ovens rests in the building like a breath held after work. The oven mouth is dark now, but the bricks around it still hold a small, tired warmth. No flame shows in the room. No one speaks beside the table. Yet the heat has not fully gone. It lingers in the red-brown clay, in the narrow cracks between bricks, and in the ash that has been drawn carefully toward the back. The bake room rests after its work. Flour lies in pale traces along the board. A wooden peel leans against the wall with its handle turned inward, where a hand can find it before dawn. The cloth over the bread tray has been folded once, then folded again less neatly, as if the second fold came after the body had already begun asking for sleep. This is not the hour of bread coming out hot, or voices gathering near a doorway. That part of the day is past. What remains is quieter. The room keeps the afterwork of warmth. A baker has been here late. The signs are small. A crescent of ash sits beside the iron rake. A thumbprint has pressed into flour near the edge of the board. One corner of the cloth is darker where damp fingers touched it. Nothing has been arranged for display. Everything has been left close to its next use. Near the oven, the ash has been banked with care. It is not scattered. It slopes gently toward the center, where a little heat can live through the night. The baker did not leave the fire awake. He did not leave it dead either. He left it in the middle state that working rooms understand, quiet enough for sleep, warm enough for morning. Banking a fire is a humble kind of knowledge. The hand learns how much ash to draw forward, how much air to deny, how much glow to shelter. Too much air, and the fire spends itself. Too little, and the warmth disappears before the first dough is ready. The old baker would know this without counting. His wrist would know it before his mind named it. On the brick near the oven mouth, the soot is not even. It darkens where smoke has turned again and again. Lower down, the clay has a dull polish from years of brushing and reaching. A fresh mark cuts through the older gray, where tonight's rake passed once more. It is a narrow mark, almost straight, then slightly tired near the end. A dough trough stands farther from the heat. Its inside is scraped but not bare. A thin skin of flour clings to the lower corner where dough rose folded and resisted the hand. Beside it, a small wooden scraper lies face down, close enough for morning. The wooden peel rests with its flat blade lifted just off the floor. It has not been washed bright. It has been wiped enough. Flour remains in the grain. One edge is smoother than the other, shaped by lobes sliding across it, by palms pushing forward, by the quick turn that frees bread from the brick before the crust catches too hard. A younger worker might have leaned it upright without thinking. The old baker has set it where it will not fall if someone brushes past in the dark. Its handle points toward the table. Its blade faces away from the sleeping rooms. Even at the end of the day, the room is arranged to avoid one unnecessary sound. The table is broad and low, made of wood that has known water, salt, dough, and elbows. Flour gathers in its shallow scars. There are places where the surface has lightened from use, and places where oil has darkened the grain. A small line of dough has dried near a knot in the wood. It is too small to matter in daylight. At night, it becomes a record. The baker has scraped most of the table clean. Not all. He has left what tired hands leave when the necessary work is finished, and perfect work would only be pride. A few crumbs remain near the far side. A soft dusting of flour holds the shape of a bowl that was lifted away. The absence of the bowl is still visible. On a shelf above the table, A sack of flour rests with its mouth folded under itself. The fold is practical, not graceful. It keeps the dust in. It keeps mice from finding an easy path. Beside it, a small cup has been turned upside down. Its rim has made a pale circle in the flour dust beneath it. A cloth hangs from a peg near the shelf. One end is stiff where it dried with flour inside the weave. The other end is softer, darker, and a little twisted. It has wiped hands, board, handle, perhaps the edge of the oven when steam rose and settled. It has done many small jobs and now hangs as if it too has been allowed to stop. The room smells of cooling bread, old smoke, damp wood, and the faint sourness of dough kept for another morning. None of these smells is strong. They lie close to the surfaces that made them. The oven gives warmth to the air near the floor. Higher up, the room is already cooling. Near the washing corner, a shallow basin holds a dark reflection of the lamp. The water has gone still. A little flour has gathered at the rim where wet fingers touched the edge. This corner belongs to the last small cleaning, after the heavier work has ended. Beyond the bake room, a service court waits in darkness. The door is not fully shut. It has been pulled close, but the latch has not dropped. Through the opening, a little colder air enters and lowers itself across the floor. It touches the ash first, then the table legs, then the baker's footprints near the threshold. The footprints are blurred by flour. One is heavier near the heel. One turns outward. They do not tell a story in any dramatic way. They only show that a person moved from oven to table, from table to shelf, from shelf to door, and then paused before leaving the warmth behind. That pause remains in the room. It is in the way the door stands nearly closed. It is in the way the last tool has not quite returned to its usual place. It is in the banked ash, neither bright nor cold. The old baker may have looked back once, not because he doubted the work, but because habit asks for one final check. In places like this, care is rarely announced. It is built into the order of reach and return. The peel close enough for morning. The flour covered. The cloth where a hand will need it. The ash drawn over the living heat. A room prepared this way does not look important. It looks ready. The bread that left the oven earlier is gone from the table, but not from the room. Its trace remains in the boards, in the cloth, in the warmer air near the bricks. A thin crust flake lies by the table leg, curled inward like a dry leaf. It has escaped the sweep of the hand. Someone may find it in the morning and brush it away without thought. For now, it stays. It is a small leftover from hunger already answered. The people who ate have gone to rest. The worker who fed them has also gone, or nearly gone. The room holds what is left of both, warmth preserved, labor after appetite has passed. A covered bowl sits near the back wall. Its cloth has risen slightly at the center, where air still moves inside. The dough beneath is not visible. It does not need to be. The bowl has a place, and the cloth has a weight. The baker has left tomorrow under that small cover. Around the bowl, the wall is cooler. The floor there has fewer footprints, because this is a place for leaving something alone. The old baker would have known not to lift the cloth again once it was set. Some work asks for touch. Some work asks for patience. In this room, both have been given their proper hour. This is another kind of firekeeping. Not flame, but readiness. The room keeps a future loaf in the dark. It keeps the oven warm enough to begin again. It keeps the tools where hands can find them while the morning is still gray. The work continues by being arranged before sleep. The old baker's body would know this room in fragments. The height of the shelf, the scrape of the table edge against a hip, the heat near the oven mouth, the cold patch near the door, the place where the floor dips slightly and flour gathers in a pale crescent. These are not memories he would recite. They are distances he would cross without waking fully. A narrow bench stands against the wall. It is used for sitting only when there is a moment too small to be called rest. The front edge has been polished by hands and backs of knees. Under it, a pair of split logs waits in shadow. They are not for tonight. They are close because morning work begins before decisions feel easy. The ash glow has weakened. It no longer lights the room. It only keeps a small red dot inside the oven. The lamp beside the shelf burns lower than before. Its flame bends when the cold air from the door finds it. For a moment, the shadow of the hanging cloth moves along the wall, then settles again. No one needs to enter now. That is part of the peace of the room. The needed things have been done. The dangerous heat has been softened. The useful heat has been saved. The tools have been left near their work. The night can pass over the bake room without asking it for anything more. Still, the room does not feel empty. It feels attended. The touch has gone, but the arrangement remains. A room can hold a person this way, not by showing a face, not by keeping a name, but by keeping the shape of care after the person has stepped away. In the service court, the stones are colder. A little flour has followed the baker out and faded near the threshold. The mark grows thin, then disappears among darker patches. The court has its own quiet, a bucket near the wall, a broom under a lean-to roof, a low door that leads back toward the sleeping rooms. The court does not offer comfort in the same way the bake room does. It has no stored heat, only the smell of stone and damp air. Still, it belongs to the same work. Water came through here. Wood came through here. Feet carried trays, sacks, and tired bodies across these stones until the root became part of the night. A narrow corridor leaves the court and cools quickly. Its walls hold almost no color now, only the faint return of the bake room glow at one edge. This is where warmth gives way to stone, and stone gives way to sleep. The baker would have crossed there slowly, not from drama, from weight. Flour on the sleeve, heat in the wrists, tiredness in the shoulders. He would know which board near the door complains under pressure. He would know how to lift the latch without letting it strike. He would know how to leave warmth behind without waking anyone to notice it. Behind him, the oven continues its small work. It gives back heat one breath at a time. The bricks cool at the edges first. The center holds longer. Ash folds over itself. The room lowers into darkness by degrees, not suddenly, not as a performance, only as a place that has finished speaking for the night. Before dawn, the same room will ask for hands again. The door will open. The cold will enter quickly. Someone will stir the ash and look for the small heat hidden under it. The covered bowl will be lifted. The table will take flour again. The peel will leave its place by the wall. But that is not yet. For now, nothing moves except the slow cooling of brick and air. The cloth hangs quiet. The cup stays turned over. The board keeps its pale dust. The ash keeps its hidden red. The bread room rests in the kind of order made by someone who is tired and still careful. The final warmth is not bright. It does not call attention to itself. It waits inside the oven, held under ash, saved for people who will wake hungry before the room is fully light. The old baker has left no speech there, only a working kindness shaped in brick, flour, wood, and silence. The room grows darker around it. The shelf fades. The table becomes a low shape. The door line softens. In the oven mouth, the last covered heat remains, quiet and small, keeping the morning possible while the bakeroom sleeps.